I'm Ida. The sunlight is streaming through the thin curtains, casting a soft glow over the room. I sit at the table in our small apartment, the ticking of the clock echoing in the silence. It's been a year since the wedding at the Rosewood Diner, and life has changed so much. As I look around, memories flood back. I remember the day the Brooks family walked into our apartment. It was a normal morning, or so I thought. I heard unfamiliar voices in the living room and my heart raced. I was terrified, thinking it might be the groom coming to get me. I peeked out from under the blanket and saw Mr. Thompson, my boss at the diner, sitting on the couch in his pressed work shirt. Beside him was Mr. Harris, a wealthy businessman in a tailored gray suit. And standing near the window, holding a bouquet of white lilies, was the bride, Miss Grace. I was stunned. They had found me. I was so afraid they were angry with me for what I'd done at the wedding. I slid out of bed quietly, trying to listen, but I accidentally knocked over a stack of books. The room fell silent, and I froze, my face burning. Ms. Grace's gentle voice broke the silence. "Hi, sweetheart. It's all right. We just came to talk." I blinked, too shocked to reply. I never imagined this moment. Ms. Grace then told me that I'd saved her life. The doctors had run tests on the powder in the champagne glass, and it was a strong sedative that could have stopped her heart. I was in disbelief. I'd only done what I thought was right. But then, a wave of guilt washed over me. I blurted out, "She's not my mom. She's my aunt. My real mom left me here when I was a baby. I don't want to be taken away." I started to cry, fearing that my secret would ruin everything. Aunt Mia pressed a hand over her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I should have told the truth long ago, but I couldn't risk losing you. You're my family, the only one I have." Mr. Harris exchanged a look with Mr. Thompson, and then he leaned forward. "No one is taking her anywhere. Not on my watch." Ms. Grace smiled through her tears and said, "You both deserve peace." Mr. Harris then said he'd spoken to an old friend at the Department of Social Services. By the next morning, Aunt Mia would be my legal guardian. I couldn't believe it. I was so relieved. After that, we all sat down to eat. The food was simple but warm, and the conversation was light. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I truly belonged. Looking back, I remember how my life used to be. Aunt Mia had worked at the Rosewood Diner for almost 10 years. She was the kindest person in town, always smiling and never saying a harsh word. She had once been married to Uncle Ben, and she had a younger sister, Aunt Lucy, whom she adored. But one day, everything changed. Uncle Ben started coming home late, smelling of perfume that wasn't Aunt Mia's. And then, I found out that Aunt Lucy had fallen in love with him. When the affair came to light, they both disappeared, leaving behind a newborn me. Aunt Mia could have turned her back on me, but she didn't. She took me in and raised me as her own. The paperwork wasn't easy to get, but she made sure I had everything I needed. We lived in a small apartment above a bakery, filled with sunlight and laughter. One day, there was a big wedding at the diner. The bride was Miss Grace, the daughter of Mr. Harris, one of the wealthiest men in town. I begged Aunt Mia to let me help in the kitchen to earn money for new school shoes. She finally agreed, but she told me to stay behind the counter and not talk to the guests. When we arrived at the diner, it was transformed. Chandeliers sparkled, roses filled the air with perfume, and luxury cars lined the street. It was like a different world. I was in awe of everything. I saw Ms. Grace through the window, and she looked like a fairy. I was so excited to be a part of this wedding, even if it was just in the kitchen. As the wedding went on, I was helping to replace the used napkins on the main tables. When I reached the far end of the hall, I realized I'd forgotten a stack near the back corridor. I went to get it and saw the groom, Mr. Leo, in the shadows with another woman. They were kissing, and I was shocked. I tried to act normal and went back into the hall. But then, I saw Mr. Leo slip a small glass vial from his pocket and pour a fine white powder into Ms. Grace's champagne flute. I knew I should stay quiet, but I couldn't. I walked up to Ms. Grace and told her what I'd seen. The room went silent. Ms. Grace was in shock at first, but then she understood what was happening. She confronted Mr. Leo, and the whole place erupted in chaos. The police were called, and the wedding was ruined. After that, I was so scared. I thought I'd caused so much trouble. But when the Brooks family came to our apartment, I realized that I'd done the right thing. 3 months later, there was another wedding at the Rosewood Diner. This time, it was Aunt Mia and Mr. Thompson. The diner was filled with family and friends. I was the bridesmaid, wearing the white leather flats that Miss Grace had given me. As I walked down the aisle, I looked back and saw Aunt Mia and Mr. Thompson walking arm in arm. They looked so happy, and I knew that they had found their peace. The ceremony was short and tender. When Mr. Thompson slipped the ring onto Aunt Mia's finger, I felt tears in my eyes. I'd never seen Aunt Mia look so happy. After the wedding, we all danced and laughed. It was a night I would never forget. Now, a year has passed. The Rosewood Diner has become even more beloved. Aunt Mia and Mr. Thompson work side by side, making it the heart of our town. I've joined the school's writing club, and I come home every week with a new story or poem. I know that life isn't always easy, but I've learned that miracles can happen in the most unexpected places. As I sit here, looking out at the lights of the town, I smile. I know that I'm home, and I'm surrounded by love. I whisper, "Good night, Mom," and I know that everything is going to be all right.